That's it. Okay, slight update. Well, we're not exactly on the road yet. We're still in Colorado because the money's, they're taking a sweet ass time getting the money to us, so that's gonna be a bit of an issue. Maybe Monday. Anyway, once we get it, we'll be we'll be on the road within hours. We already got a Moto 6 picked up in Kansas City. In the meantime, our money that we have is dwindling because we figured we'd be going by now. So, as always, contributions down below are always helpful. So, let's dissect a bit more of what's been going on with Discovery and specifically what they've done. Specifically, what they've done to the Enterprise. And their argument about it still being Prime is just gets worse and worse and worse every time they do it. So, it gets worse, yeah. So let's get right to it here. Here's, thanks to Eagle Moss having a display, I guess at FedCon. It was some con in Germany. They had this there, and someone's managed to cobble together comparison pictures of the original ship. Where's my cursor there? The original ship and what I'm calling the Disco Prize. And yeah, it's a nice looking ship. It'd be great for, kind of a revival of the overall design for post next gen type thing. It'd be a nice little companion. It'd look perfectly fine right alongside Voyager. If they're anything, by going into some more. But it's got hints on here, like down here, that's from Excelsior. You get the pylons from the refit. Adding fins on here, which I think run right with the Knipship, because one of his edicts was no fins, no flames. And I think this also shows, really, the original ship is. This is nothing 60s about this. This looks more like 1940s battleship utility type thing. This is just straightforward, blocking, just being, form following function of thing. That's what Samuel always goes on about. It's a simple shape, it does the job. But this ain't the end of it, because they've also said that they upscaled it to fit better in with the Discovery universe. I think the reality is closer to that. Now, with the other one, you could almost make half a decent argument that they just refit it in between there, although then you're still pushing the argument of why you would refit from that to that and then back to that. Because that's really what they're arguing there. Because it was the same damn model. They didn't even change that much for these pilots. But now it's like you've just made that a physical impossibility. Because there's no refit on Earth that is going to change this to that and then back to that. It's like they've just proven themselves to be liars up and down the road. And it also doesn't help. And again, you got these guys going, oh, it's just a visual reboot, everything else is the same. If you change this stuff, you change the whole thing. I don't care if the history still lines up. That just goes into a theory I got about how timelines work in the Star Trek universe. They've got one main timeline, and then you got the offshoots, and they all try to stay aligned with the others. That's why you have this, in the Mirror Universe, the same crew member showing up on the ISS Enterprise. And going through that. The timeline is trying to correct itself. And so you get the same people laying down similar paths to eventually, hopefully, it all merges back into, something that resembles what it should have been. But, no. This is going too far. You're getting into not even, just offshoot timelines now. It's like with JJ, you're talking a full-blown alternate timeline with no connection with the main one at all. They'd call this the Burnham timeline or Discovery timeline. It's not part of the same thing. So just zoom in a bit here. And since when is 947 feet not big? Come on, that's the size of just slightly smaller than a Nimitz-class aircraft carrier by maybe 20 feet or by 50 feet or so. This Star Destroyer Envy that JJ started, I would like to slap him for it, frankly, because he is just pretty much that and windows on the bridge. Now you could argue that maybe it's other people leading him astray on this one, but it's like no, it's like the hero ship does not have to be ginormous, okay? That was one thing, frankly, I kind of liked about Voyager. You know, I went from the Enterprise D, which is, you know, a couple of, you know, 2 square city blocks, you know, big. You know, one of the comparison shots in the writer's guide is overlaying the Enterprise D over the Paramount lot. It's just about the same size. With this whole thing of, no, make it bigger and bigger. Well, again, you're dealing with a rather intricate history now. And the Enterprise D is based on the fact that it's twice the size of this thing. Well, now, is it going to be twice the size of this monster now? And again, going back to the trick, is now the Enterprise E comparable to size to a Borg cube? To one point, they're no longer, and now they got to be the size of a planet? It just escalates from, you know, goes on down the line. You got to draw the line somewhere, guys. And there's also the thing, it's like, when you make Superman too powerful, the story's no longer interesting. You make the ship too damn big, who cares? I mean, they can't really put it in peril if the ship can destroy a planet without even blinking. You got to put some limits on things to keep the suspense up. But really, okay? So much of this stuff does not belong anywhere near this. It's like old SCA, you know, criticism. It's not period. You know? Like if you're wearing the wrong broadsword with your outfit, it's like, you know, it's not period. They didn't have those yet. This reeks of this. They did not have this thing. This was part of the Excelsior, the big ginormous impulse engines, the swept-back pylons. To that extent, you know, I don't know where the holler. That's nobody else had that there. I mean, I would almost buy this kind of as an alternate version for the Daedalus class if you shrunk it back down below the size of the Constitution. And stripped away some of the more egregious aspects of it. Because, I'm sorry guys, the big ball, there was a reason why it was rejected back in '64. It doesn't work. And that's why when they tried to bring it back for Enterprise, no, we're not doing that, come up with something else. I mean, Matt Jeffries tried and tried and tried to make that sphere work. It just doesn't work. So they had to go against everything. They had to go with the flying saucer and throw them things on the end here. So I would still be inclined to have a Daedalus look kind of really not unlike this, kind of a cross between the NX refit and the Constitution. This would not be bad as a Daedalus, I think. You know, just like I said, just shrunk back down to a proper size. But it's really more than not just a lack of respect for the content. You also lack of respect for the fans who actually care about this type of thing. Because I think again, with Les Moonves' edict, it's time to win back the fanboys. You got to do better than this. This doesn't win us back. It pisses us off even more. Because it's showing you don't care. You're not going to make an effort to even try and, you know, make this stuff fit. So why should we care and watch your show? You know. Just at this point, I mean, you could do a big bombastic timeline switch where you bring in experienced producers and writers who know what they're doing with Star Trek, and where they fix the whole thing and restart over. But at this point, who cares? Because you got 15 episodes that are totally unsuitable. So it's better just declare it a reboot, an alternate timeline. This is no way, anyway, do with Prime other than pure coincidental incidents in the timeline. And just let it stand on its own for what it is. You keep trying to plug in the Prime thing without even trying to plug in the Prime timeline the way it should be. You're just embarrassing yourselves and pissing everybody off. So.
Fine cast, but
yeah, the cast is great, but again, they're not. It's like with the JJ, they're fine cast, but they're not being served by the script or the writers. So on that note, PayPal, Patreon, coffee down below. Catch you later. Find the button because I got to do this backwards and can't switch around. Oh, wait. Let's look at the Starbucks for a bit while I try and figure out how to take this off here. Okay.